Around there, YouTube, it is Charles here, and today I want to talk about IDW Star Trek Redshirts. Number one, I really enjoyed this book. I'm sure we all know the Star Trek Redshirts meme. When you see a group of guys in red shirts, you know they're not coming back to the ship. And I thought that this is going to be kind of a lighthearted exploration of the meme. But what it does is it takes that concept and it really takes it to the grim reality of what these guys are. The red shirts are the security forces that protect the gold and blue shirts. They come from all kinds of backgrounds. You have some overachievers who may not fit in here, may not fit in there. You have some, Starfleet rejects. You have some all types that end up here. Through various circumstances, and the book starts with the introduction of the crew that we're going to be seeing. 12 members, each with a brief biography and certain things that really make them stand out. Like for me, one that stood, I'm not going to read all of them to you, but one that stood out is Ensign Borvik, a Vulcan male, 31 years old, rejected from Vulcan Science Academy, settled for Starfleet Academy. Questions authority, chose security to place himself in the upper tier of intelligence amongst his peers. And so that tells you that he is aloof, probably the type of guy that gets out over his skis, and most likely his ego is going to be his demise. And with all of these characters, you're given, these rich backgrounds that lead into who they are, how they interact with each other, how they interact with the situations. And then we go into a deep dive into the backstory of, Chip Miller, an ensign, a human ensign, and his one mission where he got disfigured. And we go from that to this satellite base that's being hacked by unknown forces. And the Starfleet sends this group of red shirts to investigate. And to tell much beyond that, it would really be to give away story beats and, spoilers that will take the fun out of reading it and discovering it for yourself. What I will say is that if you're looking for a Star Trek book to get into at the ground floor that establishes lore and there's a different look outside of that utopian advanced society that we're used to seeing, in the world of Star Trek. This is brutal, it is cynical, and it is, it addresses the way that these guys would feel being put in these situations. These guys know that the red shirts are always the first ones in and the ones most likely not to come back. And it addresses that beautifully here. And this cover itself is, it reflects that. You have a skeleton floating out in space in a red shirt. And that really is the perfect synopsis of what it looks like this series is going to be wrapping up to be. This is just number one. And so it could go any direction, but I like the way it's headed right now. If you're a Star Wars fan or not, I enjoy Star Wars, but I am a casual. I watched Discovery, I watched, what's the one with Cisco? I can't remember the name of it. I watched Little Deep Space Nine, and I watched the original series. But I'm not what you would call a Trekkie. I have way too many other nerdy hobbies to keep up with all of Star Trek, but I enjoy popping in and out. And it gave me, it let me into the world without overwhelming me with information. And I think that if you are a Star Trek fan who is familiar with more of the lore, you will enjoy it that much more. But if you know nothing about the Star Trek universe, you will still find it an enjoyable story because, in essence, it's a story of class warfare. So that's my thoughts on Star Trek Redshirts number one from IDW. Pick it up while you can. I think this is going to be a very good series. You can find it at your local comic book shop. And if you don't have a local comic book shop, I suggest my friends over at Coffee and Comic. They have one of the easiest to use storefronts online at coffeeandcomic.com, and they send you complimentary coffee with each purchase. And if you're in Wyoming, the only place to check out is Spellbound Apothecary and Entertainment, located in Casper, Wyoming, in the Eastridge Mall. That is my personal first stop for comic books. Great store. If you want to know what to expect when you go in there, check out my channel. I have plenty of YouTube shorts uploaded to my channel, and actually the previous 2 unboxings were recorded in the store. That's how cool they are. They let me do my recording and my content in the store, and the store owner is actually the guy who got me into comic books. So I will see you guys next time. Until then, keep reading them books. You know I am.